Before the sermon, before the page,
before the light hit the stage.
Before the dawn touched the earth with flame, before the Nile knew his holy name, before the priest wrote down the sky, there was Ptah and he stood on high. Not just a story the scholars told, but the mind of creation, ancient and old, the heart that conceived, the tongue that spoke, the sacred word where the world awoke. Long before the logos entered speech, long before the church could preach, Kemet knew what the soul still knows. Thought becomes form when the spirit flows. What was in the heart, the mouth revealed. What was in the unseen and became sealed into stone, into sound, into sky, into land, through the power of mind and the works of hand.
Ptah, the word before the word, the voice that the ages never heard.
Mind to matter, thought to light, speaking the world into birth and sight.
Ptah, the fire behind creation,
The first great voice
of revelation.
If the church can say let there be, then hear the echo from Kemet sea. Memphis rose where the sacred stood, in Neb hedge the black land good, where wisdom lived in temple walls and cosmic order answered the calls. My heart was more than law and rule. It shaped the craftsman, king in school. It ordered breath, it formed the ears. It taught the heart to rule its fears. They called it myth, they called it old, but truth was carved in stone and gold. While other lands were still unborn, Kemet had already lit the dawn. Ptah was not a god of some among many voices that later came. He was the source, the first great mind, the pattern from which all forms aligned. The mason's hand, the goldsmith's flame, the architect who knew his name, built not for pride but to align with sacred rhythm and divine design.
Ptah, the word before the word, the voice that the ages never heard.
Mind to matter,
Thought to light,
speaking the world into birth and sight.
Ptah, the fire behind creation,
The first great voice.
of revelation.
If the church can say
Let there be,
then hear the echo from Kemet sea. The Shabaka stone still speaks today, and what it says will not fade away. He thought it first within his heart, and spoke the gods and worlds apart. The eye could see, the ear could hear, because his word brought vision near. The tongue became the force that made the hidden things step out of shade. This is not superstitious change, this is the pattern behind the frame. The science of sound, the law of breath, the power that defeats deadness and death. And when you speak, you still reflect the same creative, deep effect. Your words can heal, your words can build, your words can bless, your words can spill. So watch your tongue and guard your speech, because the voice you have can reach beyond the room, beyond the night, and call new worlds into the light. Some called it idle, some called it wrong, but use the principle all along. But they rejected in African hands, they later claimed as their own command. For if the word can bring things near, then Ptah was speaking that truth out clear. Not a replacement, not a disguise, but the root beneath old sunrise. This is for the church in every seat, for every preacher up on their feet, for every member who wants to know what sacred wisdom first did grow. Before the councils, before the creed, before the empire shake belief, before the West redrew the map, Africa held the ancient tab. And Ptah stands there calm and still, the mind that forms the heart that wills, not far away, not lost in dust, but living in the speech of us. So if you know the power of prayer, the power of praise, the breath in air, then you already know this frame. Creation answers when we call his name.
Ptah, the word before the word, the voice that the ages never heard.
Mind to matter,
Thought to light,
speaking the world into birth and sight.
Ptah, the fire behind creation,
The first great voice.
of revelation.
If the church can say,
Let there be,
then hear the echo from Kemet sea. Breaking Chains Ministry, KJ. We didn't lose the word. We found where it was spoken first.